Hi again, this is Tammy, your integrated body coach, and welcome back once again to day 18 of our 30-day Take Back Your Life program. We are over halfway through the program and we have a lot to cover today on day 3 of week 3. We're talking about fitness and getting in shape and moving these bodies. And so we're just going to jump right in. Did you know that posture affects performance, and poor posture really increases your risk of injury? So today we're going to really drill down and look at how that works and how you can begin your program by correcting some of these poor posture problems that are very common in our society today. Few things are more disheartening than making a decision to get in shape and lose weight, and then you spend some money, put together a plan, a great plan, and then bam, you sustain an injury and you're sidelined for the next month. Been there, done that more than once. And so I don't want that to be your story. Often I think we get excited and we want to put all that motivated energy into quick fixes, fixed results by way of intensity. But here's the thing. Your body has probably spent a lot of time compensating for some inactivity and has created some of its own rules to keep you comfortable while you're sitting on your butt. All right? We talked a little bit about this yesterday, about this synergistic dominance that occurs when we don't balance our movement and our activity, and we get these overactive muscle groups. And so when you don't require your glutes, also known as your butt muscles, or your upper back to pull their own weight, and you allow your synergist muscles to pick up the load, it takes a while to retrain everybody. Now, I like to think of our body's muscle groups as kind of like a dysfunctional family. You have your lazy underperformers, right? And they just prefer to let others do their jobs. And then you have those codependents who step up and do the extra work just to keep the peace. Your body is very much like this. You are made to move, and your body will move whether all the muscles are cooperating or not. The overachievers are the ones that remain chronically contracted, while the loafers need to be woken up. So among our bodies, some of our body's greatest slackers are what we call the core stabilizers. So these are the muscles that primarily attach to your spine and rib cage. They hold you up. They keep the space between your ribs and allow them to expand and contract as you breathe. And they also keep your shoulders, hips, and lower back stable and in alignment. These are core stabilizers. These are responsible for maintaining good posture. Your limbs also have stabilizers that keep your joints moving properly and stabilize the smaller bones there, like around in your shoulder, elbows, joints, hands, etc. So our strategy is that in light of these facts, that our bodies kind of operate sometimes as a dysfunctional family and everybody doesn't always carry their own load, and other muscles jump in to do the work that the loafers are not doing for various reasons that we talked about yesterday with our nerve system and how it's set up and wired so that we can't rip muscle off the bone. So in light of all that, one of the beginning phases of any good fitness program is going to be correcting those muscle imbalances and improving flexibility and establishing core stabilizer strength and endurance. This is called the stabilization endurance phase of fitness development. So our focus is going to be on posture and core stabilization as we maximize calorie burn. So again, we're here because we want to lose weight, we want to be able to get out and move and not be injured, and we want to look and feel good, right? The exercises that we're going to talk about today are best learned from a personal trainer, and this is why I'm a big fan of finding a gym, finding a personal trainer. It's going to really work for you and give you the best return on the time that you put in. So find a personal trainer who understands this, who can watch you and ensure that you're using proper form as you do these exercises. If you don't have access to that, then a workout buddy can help and be a great help to kind of spot you and see that you're at least looking like the picture in the video, right? Now there's also an extended video link that I will be putting in the links below. It is actually not done at the time that I'm making this video, but that's on my list to upload into this program, and that's going to demonstrate just a better a fitness program that you can actually follow on a daily basis in order to begin to work on some of these muscle imbalances. Today we're going to just look at a few things that you can be doing right now to offset what might have developed over time, especially if you work a desk job, or if you wear high heels, or if you just spend a lot of time, looking at your computer or your telephone. So the first thing I want to emphasize is you don't need a huge space to do these exercises that I'm going to show you right now. If you'll notice, I am in a very small space. I think my space is about 4 feet by 7 feet, and it's plenty sufficient to do everything we're going to do, everything you need to do to build those core stabilizers. Again, these are the muscles that are stuck to your bones and that kind of give you support and posture. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is our upper back. So if you look in a mirror sideways at your shoulders, you want them to be back and down, okay? You want your shoulder blades to line up from your ear all the way down beside your leg and to your ankle. And oftentimes our shoulders want to roll forward like this, and this is very, very common in today's society because we live in this little box that's like this size, right? We sit there at our desks, we have our head forward, and we have our hands on the computer keyboard, or we're sitting on a couch and we're hunched over looking down in our laps. This is not the way our bodies were designed to work. So the first thing we want to do is work on getting those shoulders back and in place. And the way I like to think of it, a very good word picture and mental picture to keep in your mind, is putting your blades, your shoulder blades, in your back pocket. Okay, so in order to bring my shoulder blades back into my back pocket, I have to roll my shoulders back, like palms forward. And if your palms are like this, they're going to roll forward. If they're like this, they're more likely going to go back. So put your palms forward and shoulder blades together and down into your back pocket. And what this is these are the muscles. You have 3 sets of trapezius muscles between your shoulder blades that pull them back and down. So your upper traps pull them back and up, and that's why we do this, okay? So sometimes when you find yourself maybe doing a rowing exercise or something, you find your arms coming up like this because those muscles are overactive. The mid and lower traps are the ones that tend to be the family slackers, and they're the ones that tend to underperform. So we need to train those to wake up and to do their work. One really good way to do that is to just stand with your hands forward, palms forward, and then just pull your shoulder blades together like you're holding a pencil in between them, and you're trying to break that pencil in between your shoulder blades, and then relax and let your shoulders come forward, and then back, and then forward, and just continue to do that maybe 10 or 15 times, several times a day. Just back and forward. And you're learning to isolate those mid and lower traps, and then when you go to do a workout, you can concentrate on that. A lot of exercises that really highlight this imbalance are if you're maybe trying to do chin-ups or pull-ups and you find yourself coming up like this, you need to bring those shoulders back and down. So just always think blades in your back pocket, okay? When you're walking down the street, you don't want to walk like this. We're going to put blades in your back pocket and walk with your upper body. And the other one is like maybe a Superman chest, right? Superman chest, you be up and forward and shoulder blades back and down. Most important postural fix that you can make. Now, what's going to happen when you do that oftentimes is when you bring your shoulder blades back, then your butt wants to stick out and your lower back can get an extra arch in there. So the step 2, we're going to talk about 4 B's. One is your blades. Step 2 is going to be your belly, okay? You want your belly button to be pulled back towards your spine, all right? And so this is going to require kind of rolling your hips to neutral. It's going to feel maybe like you're over-rotating your hips forward, but really just neutral is straight up and down. So when you put your shoulder blades back, your butt's going to want to stick out, and then you're just going to pull it back into place by tucking your belly button back towards your spine and keeping those shoulders in place. This takes some work and some coordination. If your body's not used to working like this, Give it time. It's going to feel awkward, but the more you do it and the more you practice this, the less awkward it's going to feel. And this is a core position that you're going to want to hold as you do your workouts. Otherwise, you'll be reinforcing negative muscle imbalances that are going to only put you into a more injury-prone state and a stronger state of poor posture. So, blades in your back pocket and then your belly button in. And the other thing is your butt. So that's the third B, is your butt. So, we talked about your glutes not wanting to work because they sit in an overstretched position. One way to get your glutes to activate is we have to release these hip flexor muscles that get over tight. So after we do our foam rolling that we talked about yesterday, we're going to want to stretch and open up this hip flexor. And one of the best ways to do that is just through this simple quad stretch like this. Hold it up. Now if you can't get in a position where you can hold on to your foot like that, then you can put it up on a couch or a bench or a table. But the key is to open up this and then flex your glute. Now if you overflex your glute when you do this, you can really pull a muscle up here. So be gentle, but just gradually flex your glute while you extend and rotate your hips forward and let those hip flexors open up. Again, it's best to do this after you've done some foam rolling to kind of release some of that neural tension on those muscle groups. And then do some stretching. And again, these stretches, we call that a static stretch. We're going to hold that for at least 30 seconds, maybe even a whole minute, but a minimum of 30 seconds because that's how long it takes the message to get to your brain that we're releasing that muscle. And then your glute is going to be able to work and support you as you do your other squats and exercises and things like that. So that's the third B, is your butt. So you have your blades in your back pocket, your belly, with your belly button towards your spine, and then we're going to activate our glutes and make sure that they're awake and doing their work. This all takes training. You're retraining all the systems of your body to work in sync with each other the way that they were meant to do. Okay, now the third thing is a bend. The third B is a bend, a little bend in your knees. And so as you do your workouts, let's say you're standing here and you're just doing some bicep curls, okay? You want to have your blades back, your belly in, your butt activated, and then just a slight bend in your knees. What it's going to do a couple things. One is it's going to allow you to better hold this upper body in place, okay? Because when your blades are back, it's kind of hard to keep your belly and your glutes activated if your legs are super tight and straight. And so we're going to give them a little bend, we're going to give you some flexibility. It's going to help you hold that core position. And it's also just going to protect your knees and your lower body from potential injury. Just gives you a little bit of a balance and a flexibility, and it allows everything to align properly. So you have your blades, your belly, your butt, and it's a little bend in your knees. So we're going to look at a couple exercises now, and what I like to call the core four, and there's a number of variations on this. I'm just going to give you 4 of them for the sake of time. The core 4 are the exercises. You can do these every single day in order to really build your core stabilizers. Again, you have to do that keeping these 4 B's in mind, and a topmost in mind, because if you don't, again, you're just reinforcing some negative synergistic patterns. Okay, so we're down here in our little space, and like I said, we're going to go through 4 exercises, and we're going to work the 4 key muscle areas and help you build those core stabilizer muscles. These might feel a little awkward at first if you're not used to doing them, so don't worry about that. It's okay. The first one we're going to do is called cobras, floor cobras. And so we're going to lay down. You're going to lay down on your stomach, and you're going to put your arms up like this. I'm going to demonstrate this, but you put your arms up like this, laying on your stomach, and then we're going to activate everything on the rear chain, okay? So you're going to bring your arms up like this. You're going to bring your shoulder blades together, bring your head up, and your feet up. So we're going to activate everything from our calves, hamstrings, glutes, back, shoulder blades, and the back of your neck. We're going to lift up. We're going to hold it for 3 seconds, and then relax. And we'll do that 10 times. Let me show you. 3, 2, 3. Okay, so those are your floor cobras. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll over on our backs and work our abs. And the abs we're concerned about are your inner set of abs. You have two layers of abdominal muscles. Your external layer are your big, strong ones, and they're the ones that like to oftentimes pick up and do the work, but they're not made to hold position all day long. And so your inner abdominals are the ones we want to work on, and those are the ones that are made to maintain your posture and keep you strong all day. So there are a number of ways to target these muscles. What I like is just a reverse curl, and this is where I'm going to lay on my back, and I'm going to bring my legs up and over, not up and straight up, but just over my head and then back down. The whole time what the goal is I'm going to keep my lower back pressed against the floor. These are called reverse curl. I'm going to keep my belly button tight against my spine and pressed into the floor. And then when my legs come down, I'm not going to go all the way to the floor. I'm just going to go down far enough before my lower back comes off the floor. And as you get better at this, your legs will be able to go down further, but in the beginning, it's okay if they just go down maybe 45 degrees. The key is don't let your lower back come off the floor. Okay, so I'm rotating my hips so that my lower back is against the floor. My legs are down like this. I go up and just to there. So we have our floor cobras, reverse curl. Then the third one is just your hip raiser. And again, we're going to lay on our back, spine neutral, and I'm going to describe that in just a minute. And we're just going to raise your hips up, level, and then back down. Oh, let me show you. I'm going to show you, and then I will explain some of the key points of that move. Okay, so my knees are at about a 90-degree angle. Spine neutral, so I can like roll my hips and really arch my back, and that's kind of an arched spine. Or I can roll them this way and press it all the way against the floor, or I can just go right in the middle. So my goal on this one is right in the middle. I'm going to put my hands down, palms up. That keeps my shoulder blades in the right position. I'm going to look straight up at the ceiling and then just raise my hips to where there's a straight line from my shoulder to my knee. The goal is a straight line from the shoulder to knee. You don't want to overarch or underarch, but just come straight up, tighten your glutes, hold them for a count of 3 to 5, and then down. And then back up, and down. And we'll do, when you're at home doing this, do it like 10 of these. Okay? Those will activate your glutes. And then the last one is good old-fashioned plank. Now planks can be tricky and they're hard to do if you don't engage and you don't activate your body properly. So we're going to get into a plank position, and again my goal is to be 90-degree angle from my shoulder and my elbow. My body's going to be straight. I'm going to put my blades in my back pocket, tighten my belly, activate my glutes, and have a slight bend in my knees. Be careful not to let your head drop down like that, and be careful not to let your body sway. If anything, you want your butt a little bit high if you're having a harder time holding it, and then gradually bring it down to level. The most common mistake people make on a plank is letting your body sag in the middle, and that means that your abs and your core are not working. So you want to just be thinking the whole time you're in your plank, blades, belly, butt, bend. And by the time you get back to blades again, you've probably come out of position. So you correct it Then you fix your belly, you fix your butt, you fix your bend, and then just keep doing that. And watch your clock for 20 to 30 seconds, as long as you can do it. And so I suggest doing that. Work yourself up to 30 seconds, and then take a rest, and then 30 seconds, maybe 3 times of 30 seconds. So that's your core 4. You can do these every single day. You're not going to overwork yourself. And you'll notice in the beginning, if this is new to you, it'll be a little bit awkward. It might take some time. But as time goes on, you're going to really begin to isolate those muscles. And then when you're just sitting at your desk or at your place of work or wherever you are, in the kitchen, whatever you're doing, just constantly be thinking about your shoulder blades. Blades in your back pocket. Put them back there. And another good visual is just imagine a pencil between your shoulder blades that you're trying to hang on. Or maybe even have a spouse or a buddy or a partner or somebody just put their fist right in the middle of your back, right between your shoulder blades, and just kind of hug that fist with your shoulder blades. Wrap them around that. That is a really good way to identify and learn to activate those muscles that are, they're very, if you don't use them on purpose, they're probably very weak and unresponsive. And so it just takes some time to get those reactivated. So with that, thank you for joining me. I hope that was helpful. Be sure to subscribe and like and share, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.